So now we're talking about pitching the ball. Pitching the ball is when you start to have enough swing where you start to need body rotation, your wrists maybe start to hinge a little bit, so it starts to work itself into the full swing. So we've got a shot here of about maybe 30 yards. Okay, so now my putting stroke isn't necessarily going to work because I couldn't, it'd be hard for me to make a big enough stroke. It gets a little bit awkward. So now we've got to start to have our wrist hinge a little and our body pivot. So how you set up and how your body pivots is really important. We don't want a lot of force going right to left. We also don't want you set up where you're leaning into your left and your shoulders are tilted this way. So when I get set up to this ball, what's really going to happen if I were just stand on my left foot and I just sat here and made swings just on my left foot, this becomes the pivot point of my lower body. So you're not moving force back and forth. You're just standing here and you're just pivoting on this left hip. Now, you don't want your shoulders tilted back this way because if your shoulders are tilted, all of a sudden, the bottom of your swing starts to happen way behind the ball. And this is one of the biggest problems people have is they might put their weight left, but they tilt their shoulders back, and now where's my club hitting the ball? Well, it's hitting way back here. Well, that's not going to work. So you walk up to the ball, and now if you don't do something, you're going to hit behind it, which is kind of how people get the yip. So we're standing on this left foot. So the first thing is just to start making swings. Don't even hit the ball. And just stand here on just your left foot, and as the club swings back and through, feel how your body pivots with your arms. The next thing is you're going to put most of your weight on your left foot and you're going to get your shoulders level, your eyes and your head at least even with the ball, and now you're making swings to find out how do I set up so when I make my swing, my circle hits the ball and then hits the ground. Then you step up to the ball and you start just on one foot. So once I find where that spot is, now I set up, and all I'm trying to do is make the bottom of my swing work. So I'm making the circle work. So now I'm going to get set up to this ball. I'm going to feel this pivot on my hip where there's no movement back and forth. And then I'm going to set up my shoulders so that when I just make a normal swing, the circle of my swing bottoms out in front of the ball. Then I'm going to set up to the ball and copy the same motion. So that becomes the most important part of starting to learn how to pitch the ball. You have to have a little more motion, so you have to have a pivot. Your wrists might start to hinge a little bit, but the most important thing is where is my setup? How do I get up to the ball so when I make a swing, the circle of my swing bottoms out in front of the ball? Again, if I take this and set up where most people set up and I make a swing, I'm going to hit clear back here. So what am I going to do to change that? I could move the ball back here, but now you can't play. So you want the ball up so the bounce works. So I get my shoulders where I'm not trying to hit down on the ball, but it's making my swing bottom out more forward. I set up, bottoms out more forward. No big divots, nice shot. So we get set up so that we start to feel how we pivot with our arms. We get our shoulders set so that as we swing, the bottom of the swing bottoms out in front of the ball, and then you just set up, go ahead and make a swing, and copy the circle. The circle runs the club into the ball. That becomes the most important part of starting pitching. Now there's more things to learn here, but that's the basis.